Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is our 200th episode, actually, Wednesday, December 15th. So welcome. If you've been here since the beginning, thank you very much for that. We've got lots of news to cover today, as well as some relatively interesting price action. Obviously, we got that Fed decision looming large today. Traditional markets are pulling back a bit. CJ, I know you want to do a little bit of analysis on IWM here today, so we'll get to that in a bit. But like I said, we've got quite a few news pieces here today, including some involving Kevin Durant of the NBA, and a few more pieces that we'll dive into. But first, CJ, how are you doing on this Wednesday morning, my friend?
Doing well, Monty. A lot of interesting news, a lot of interesting price action as well. The IWM really is hitting that critical level at about 210. Obviously, it's at 212 right now, but getting close to those critical levels. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later as well. But doing well. I think, it's good. Happy to be on our 200th episode here. So let's have a good one.
Yeah, let's do it. And also, we saw some pretty interesting price action last night in a few different assets near protocol. We got back from our holiday party last night, and this thing that 5-minute chart was looking ridiculous. I know you're a holder of that token, CJ. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, minding my own business last night, just watching the charts quietly after the holiday party. And I see this glitching out on the near chart. No other assets moving, and it just the 15-minute chart just starts going crazy. And within 2 to 5 minutes, price was up over 80%. I believe it went over 100% at a current time, but it ever since came down very sharply. Unfortunately, I was not able to sell any because if you're staking near, the process to unstake takes about 52 hours. And as you can see, you had about 52 minutes to get out of this trade. And that is one long wick down. But nonetheless, this was all a result of a listing on Upbit, one of South Korea's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. And so that really shook price. A lot of leverage traders on KuCoin have been trading the 10x near perpetual as well. So interesting volume coming in from an asset that I think has some really great tech and is not yet listed on Coinbase or some other major platforms like Kraken as well. So it'll be interesting to see the future of Near, but I think they've got a lot of really good stuff in store despite that crazy pump last night.
Yeah, that was really a crazy pump. Let's hammer out a few news pieces real quick because there are, like we said, quite a few different pieces. Let's start with some FUD here. And this is coming out of Russia. The Bank of Russia wants to ban mutual funds from investing in cryptocurrency. This isn't too surprising given their, historically hardline stance when it comes to crypto assets. But basically, they issued a draft that is not yet, official. But basically, this directive would ban crypto investments for mutual funds. And, obviously, CJ and I talk about how that sort of on-ramp for crypto is very important. That sort of wealthy individual or family office client that, is kind of in between the institutions and the retail investors. They've kind of been, not participating in this market. We're starting to see them participate now here in the United States, but, globally, we haven't seen them participate to the same extent. And, obviously there are restrictions like this that are kind of hindering that participation from wealthy individuals all around the world that want to get into cryptocurrency. So not too surprising of a piece of news here, but definitely, FUD nonetheless. And, I think we'll have to see how this plays out. Like I said, it's not official yet, but, given Russia's relatively hardline stance and Putin's hardline stance about the, ownership of cryptocurrency, it will not be surprising if this, does become a law here very shortly. But CJ, enough of the FUD. You want to get to a positive news piece here?
Yeah, for sure. Really interesting article coming out of Cointelegraph that I'm excited to share. And this has to do with retail buyers. And a lot of times people will associate dumb money with retail. I don't really view it that way in crypto because a lot of the whales and long-term holders were retail. This was a asset class being crypto where retail beat institutions to the game, going all the way back to 2014 to 2017. So just want to make that clear. But overall, retail has added more Bitcoin and bought this dip harder than the 2020 March crisis. The beginning of the COVID lows, only 2 days after oil went negative and Bitcoin experienced then a 40 to 50% correction. So it's really interesting to see that this dip is really being bought up. And that is, only the first chart that I think is really interesting in this article. The second one is when we compare smart money versus dumb money. And this is a chart that Glassnode has provided. And, I just want to reiterate, dumb money, we're not referring to as retail in this case. The dumb money that Glassnode is referring to is the shorter term holders, the shorter term speculators, whereas the smart money is the longer term holders, things that Monty and I talk about quite a lot. But if you look at this chart zoomed in, it's quite interesting because we're getting close to a typical bottom signal and a divergence between short-term holders and long-term holders, and it's the largest it's ever been in terms of 9.5 million bitcoins. So I think that's quite interesting and definitely worth noting and mentioning here today.
Absolutely. That's a really interesting chart, CJ. Thank you for sharing that. Another news piece that I want to quickly hit here involves the first federally chartered crypto bank here in the United States, and that is Anchorage Digital. We had some positive news coming out today, a very impressive valuation for this crypto custodian. So KKR backs Anchorage Digital, and that puts their valuation at over $3 billion. So for those of you who don't know, Anchorage Digital, made waves earlier this year in being the first federally chartered digital asset bank, and they have backing from all the usual suspects in crypto, Andreessen Horowitz, Blockchain Capital, and also Visa as well. So they have a really interesting business model, Anchorage Digital, because one thing that I think CJ actually talked about yesterday is the fact that we have this demand for the custody of cryptocurrency, but traditional financial institutions and banks don't want to touch crypto. So that's created this sort of void for crypto custodians, and Anchorage is kind of stepping in to fill that void. So they'll now be allowed to act as custodians to traditional banks. So that could potentially be a big deal because, like I said, and like CJ touched on, just a few days ago here on this show, banks, traditional banks like Chase, like Wells Fargo, they don't want to custody crypto. So there is the need for, firms like Anchorage Digital to serve as a custodian for these, traditional financial firms. So very impressive valuation. Not surprised though, given the, the way they're postured here at this current point in the crypto market. So another piece of positive news here, Anchorage Digital getting that large $3 billion valuation.
Thanks for that, Monty. Now I'm just going to share a little bit about our tipping point here in the IWM as we bounce around at the 212 level. So something I think that has been highlighted quite a lot by our market rebellion analysts is this 210 level and how the trend on the Russell has really bounced from these levels. We'll see, but we're definitely at a turning point going into this Fed meeting later today. And the reason why I'm showing this is because I do think that the traditional markets, the S&P, the IWM, Dow J, all of that price action is going to play an influence into Bitcoin here and the crypto market. And prior to the Fed meeting, we are at a critical level here. And I think a lot of investors and traders are taking money off the table to see the outcome and what happens. So definitely a fork in the road that we're seeing, and it's going to be interesting to see how that meeting goes, and whether the market gets spooked or perhaps a optimistic outcome occurs and we bounce from that 210 to 212 level. So either way, it'll be very interesting. And I guess I'll just end with our last piece of news here, which has to do with one of Monty's favorite ballers.
Kevin Durant.
Monty's a LeBron fan. You should have done that.
I am, but I respect Kevin Durant because not only is he one of the best scorers of all time, but he's now partnered with Coinbase. Also, CJ, we were talking about before the show started. He was a seed investor back when Coinbase did their initial offering. So he's big into crypto. He is not just a great basketball player. He's got that financial investment acumen as well. So glad to see he made that partnership with Coinbase. I think it's good for both Coinbase and for Kevin Durant and the NBA in general. So, I think that's all the news we got for today. But like CJ said, we got some big news looming later today. So we'll be, doing our members only Doge of the Day as well as a members only webinar at 11:30 Central. So we'll have plenty to talk about today. As always, feel free to come check that out. Ask us your questions. Throw in some tickers that you guys want us to do some technical or fundamental analysis on. We'd be more than happy to do that for you. And again, that will be today at 11:30 Central. And if you'd like to, sign up, get access to that, you can try it at marketrebellion.com/try crypto. You also get access to a pro charting service, 24/7 chat with a community of traders from all around the world, watch list with active sentiment data, education curriculum with over 20 hours of content, and a whole lot more. So we definitely recommend you head over there and check it out. You can try it for just $7 for the first week at marketrebellion.com/try crypto. And also thank you to Voyager, the sponsor of this show. If you guys are looking for a place to hold or trade crypto assets, Voyager is the place we recommend you check out. You can hold 60 plus digital assets there. You can earn up to 12% interest on assets like DOT and 10% on stable coins like USDC. So definitely head over there and check them out. But that's all we got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the member webinar. Have a great rest of your day and